Hello, hello, it's Lara Joe, SirenSong lover. As always, my dog is drinking water when we're starting out, releasing all that energy, you know. He releases energy as we release energy too, so breathe, rest, drink your water, meditate. That's the biggest advice, even for the animals. Breathe, rest, drink your water, meditate. Not that animals can really meditate, although they do. They rest and they go to different planes. Anyhow, if you're in, say hello. And if you're not, then don't. All right. Stop whining. Let me just start that off real quick. All right. Had to do a little energy clear before we started so that Senor Puppo isn't whining the whole time. Let us see. Yeah, okay. Hopefully you're having a beautiful night. It's been a very stressful, strange, chaotic week, and that's okay. It's just the nature of the beast, but holy shit. Holy Scorpio season. Holy clearing. I don't know. Anywho, let's see how long I want to be in for tonight. So my one kitty in particular has been trying to open this bag, so I figure maybe there's some messages that have been coming out. I don't know what he has against this particular deck. It was funny because I took a card out earlier and I shuffled cards earlier and the same card popped out twice. It was one specific card, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess that message is for me. My kitty was trying to deliver. Oh, man. All right, so 2 cards. This is from the Andromeda Skies, Silent Heart, Love Oracle, and the Andromeda Skies, just Love Oracle. I put 2 decks together as one. So the first card is, I am intimidated by you, and I run away to avoid facing my problems. Sure does. Yeah. Let's see. What else? I wish I could turn back the clock and do things over. All right. Hi, Asira. How are you? Why does it look so... Oh, probably because I don't have a lot of light coming in. I dream of you. Okay. How's it going for you in your neck of the woods? Nice. Yeah. It's been, how was your stream? And send me a picture post stream if you haven't taken yourself down yet. Yeah? Yes. Here in the chat or here in life? 'Cause holy shit. Nice. I woke up and chose violence this morning, which I've been waking up and choosing violence every day this week. Oh, I'm sorry, my love. Yeah, it's, hopefully you'll be safe. We'll pray for protection around you. Yeah, that's That's scary. Yeah. I get the poor air quality. So where we live, we have a lot of people that burn trash out here, and the air quality in the area that I live in is awful, along with our water quality. So I'm sorry, man. That's hopefully. Ugh. Oh, that's not good. Yeah. It constantly smells, like I say, people are constantly burning around here, and it always smells like crap. And then we had a biofuel place move in the neighborhood, so yeah, I'm sorry. That's not good. I woke up and chose violence this morning, which, again, I've been kind of choosing violence all Scorpio season, but today it was especially spicy. So, and the challenge, like with me, right, I speak things, and then I don't know if I'm speaking it into existence or if it's just like, I see it coming. Maybe it's both, but that happened today. I did a field trip today. I did a spiritual field trip today. So I did a spiritual field trip today, and then I did some housekeeping. So, yeah, it's hard. So it's like hard when people pop in because I can't always see who's in. So like when people pop in, if they don't say hi or interact, I don't want to say like I don't know, but it's like I don't interact if I don't know you're in, and then it's not as reciprocal. But I am glad, like I say, when I did what I did today, I had a guardian come join me or whatever. So I'm gonna say excuse me. Like the energy's calmer than it was earlier for me personally. Except for it's the calm before the storm. I really infuriated Pissy Man today. So yeah. He has some compensation problems, I guess. I don't know. He's trying to exert control when he has none. That was another thing I was thinking about today. Because he's like trying to exert control, and I'm like, how powerful are you if you truly have to get a whole fan club of flying monkeys to come against me? And you're trying to exert control over me with a whole group of people that can't control themselves. I don't know. Yeah. So, it was challenging earlier because I was just like talking, which is what I do, but it was like, I don't know. It's energetically calm for right now. It's going to be a very energetic night, if that makes sense. Because him and his little groupies are riled up, so I know that that's coming. So, like, what I was doing while my phone was charging was watching a movie and trying to breathe and relax and just regroup. Because I know they're antics, so. Yeah. It was funny though, because I stopped somewhere earlier today and I said, like, because she was saying how slow it was at work. I was like, hey, I just moved a lot of energy around. It's about to get really chaotic. And I got home and I checked. I had 5 text messages from the other party that I was fighting with that I didn't know that I had because there are a few parties in my phone, a few of my exes, that they're not blocked, but they're silenced, so I don't know when I get their texts unless I actually check my texts. So when I had gotten home from my field trip earlier, I had like 5 texts from him, but I was like blissfully unaware while I went out to do my errands and run my field trip. And yeah, then he decided he wanted to clap back and be a smart ass, and then I responded. I don't know. Like, I don't understand why he keeps wanting to tangle with me, because I'm like, it never ends well for him. Never. And he was told to leave me alone. He was told to get my name out of his mouth. He was told to stop watching me. And he doesn't, so... he probably is really kind of scared right now. So, and that's okay. He shouldn't have fucked with me. Like, I hope that when they come to question him, he's as proud about what he's done, like recounting that for other people, as he was doing it with that group. If that makes sense. Like, he wanted to stand 10 toes down and say it with his chest, all that things he did, with that group behind my back. I hope that when he's put under the microscope that he's that brave, along with all of his little cohorts. So yeah, it's spiritual housekeeping at its finest. You are the first person to make me feel this way. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have that effect on men. I have that effect on men. I terrify grown men. I terrify really powerful, like, intimidating men. Like, they literally jump back when I walk in the room. Except for, it's like they want to keep speaking lies on a group about me, and I'm going to keep speaking the truth about them. And we're going to see who's holds up under the weight. Because they want to say all this kind of shit about me, yet I have the receipts to prove my side of the story. And how stupid does it look that a whole group of people came against one woman that is minding her own fucking business? Like, I don't have a whole group of people behind me. I don't have, like, a whole bunch of this, that, or the other thing. But the proof of that being, like I say, how stupid does it look that one man that had his feelings hurt has a whole group against me? I don't have an army. My lawyer, like, he was bringing up court stuff, and it was like, he kept trying to say how, he tried playing the victim. And I'm like, what? Like, you're a fucking idiot. Anyhow, I'm like, you want to complain about all this, yet you are in a way more advantageous spot than I am. And you have a whole team behind you, yet you want to play the victim? Like, be so fucking for real. There were a few points where I was like, you know what, go play games with your wife and your kids. Maybe they'll accept the lies and the bullshit and the gaslighting. But other than that, like, I've got much bigger fish to fry than you. And I left at the crossroads today. When I say the ancestors work for me, that's because I actually go and spend time with the ancestors. And I feed them and I talk to them and I bring them offerings. So, yeah. Okay. Well, actually, so Zyra, were you here when I said, like, I had pulled, he and I were bantering back and forth, and I split one of the decks, and it came up, and I was like, oh. And I sent a picture to him, and I was like, hey, that's a message from your mama and your grandma. You were told not to fuck with me. And he, of course, like, oh, you need to get your head checked. No, man, you need to put the bottle down. Because they're all playing you for a pawn and a fool. Hiya, Lily Ones. Haven't seen you in a bit, baby. How are you? Oh, okay. Well, happy late birthday, girlfriend. I don't know if I've seen you since your birthday. Okay, so my hands. Hold on. Sit down, man. My hands are, yeah, nice. Yeah. For me, like being in the United States, with all the political stuff and all the decisive, like, division, I had to step away from social media for a hot minute. Lily, once you missed how I was talking about how I went to the crossroads today and I put some men in their place and left some offerings for the guardians and the crossroads walkers. Oh, can I show you my cute little friend that I had join me today at the crossroads? Because I was like, okay, I see you. Yes. I've been not unfollowing racist. Oh, here's like the weird thing too. Like my TikTok started showing different content creators that I'm not vibing with. And that's okay, because I think like a lot of the false people are being weeded out. So I will show you my adorable crossroad walker today. And he was adorable, and it actually goes back to like a childhood key memory. Plus this guy kind of looks like my guy, like coloring patterning wise. So for me, I was like, okay, I know that some of those heavier, older gods, yeah. And like a lot of us knew Trump was going to win. And I can touch on that for a second. I know exactly why Trump won, even though yes, he won, except he's not completely out of the woods yet because of his felony charges. Like a lot of us, like, so to do like a little conspiracy theory off of The Simpsons, they'd show, because The Simpsons predicts the future. But it showed like a woman that looked like Kamala and Trump, and then there's like a third, like a man that's kind of like I saw this just kind of a conspiracy theory thing again, where it showed like a third man that was like he was going to be the protector of women, and I was like, oh, so with his felony stuff coming up, I'm kind of curious if we're going to have like a third candidate come in and try and sway some women. I don't know. Trump was going to win, but that's because like Kamala, yeah, yes. Oh my gosh. Like, okay. So here's what I don't get on like TikTok, especially a lot of these readers that feel karmic, and it's like it feels like they have to feed you the details of the crimes of the karmic community, but these are the ones that feel like all they're trying to do is pander and like cash grab. But these are the ones that are live all the time on like TikTok, and like I don't know if you know, like TikTok, you have to have like over 1,000 followers, but they're like the ones like lapping it up. So that almost feels like the ones that are like the popular streamers on TikTok. It's like the karmics. Yeah. So it feels like the karmics are like, oh yeah, it's me. Like they're thinking that like the karmic readers are talking about like the karmics being divine feminine. It's like, you're not a divine feminine if you're over here stealing a man. Like God's never going to send you someone else's husband as your partner. Just, yeah. I'm glad you feel that, and hopefully like you have been feeling that too. That's like why a lot of the readers that I've just been like, you know what? you are a fake ass bitch, and you're the fake ass bitch which has all the views and all the people lapping, and it just feels okay. Now mind you, I'm karmic as hell too sometimes. Like, I'm not nice about all my shit, but I try to be like, I don't know, like, here's the other part of it. Spirituality is not all love and light. If people are like, oh, love and light, no man, there is divine rage. And like one of the places I walked away from, which actually this has a prime example. I'm going to show you this picture of my little crosswork. Hi, cottage country. I'm going to show you my picture of my little crossroads guardian today. And then I'm going to hop into how I hopped into like a spiritual community, and then I hopped out. And I'll tell you why. So this was my friend today that came to visit me when I visited the crossroads. So for me, I'm like, oh, yep, no, we got a beautiful miniature version of like Hecate and Anubis. Yeah, so when I showed up, like the Blue Jays were out. This guy, and actually, so this particular place that I went to, when I've gone there before, I've had 2 different cats come up, and then today it was this guy. So today I knew that I was traveling with like Anubis and Hecate, and so when I was doing my crossroad work, I was like, okay, I know. And this guy actually came up and like sat in my lap for a little bit, and yeah. So and that goes back to like my childhood too. Like one of the guys that's a key player in my childhood trauma used to have wiener dogs. So for me, it was like a very, okay, I see how this goes, kind of thing. Like I knew that I was safe and I was walking and all of that. So one of the spiritual, like this, yes. So Anubis and I'm pretty sure it's Hecate, because they're both kind of like, it's like a little mini version of Anubis, because he will show up in any way he can. Just like Hecate. So Hecate is, like I say, she's dog also. So, and it's like a weird correlation to my childhood stuff, and it's a weird correlation to everything that's going on in my life. So when I got that, and then because I'm air dominant, so I had the Blue Jays, which is that's my family, karmic family, that showed up to be like, hey, we're here with you. We're watching over you. So the spiritual community here that I first, like, I was a brand new freaking baby. We'll talk about it in a minute. Yes. Okay. You can catch it. That's a monitoring spirit, baby. Catch it and do with it as you wish. Return that spirit as you may. You can kill it. Like, you know what? If you're going to kill it, I hate to say it. Like, because normally I love to catch and release. But if I know it's like a monitoring spirit, no holds bar. I know that's wrong. Like, I've changed from love and light to, no, you're going to remember, like, you're going to return to your 7th dimension of hell. Yep. Flies are spies. Well, so 2 weeks ago, I had a millipede in my room. Millipedes are connected to one of my exes. I had never seen a millipede in my house before that ex, and then they were around when he was around, and then he was lurking in my room 2 weeks ago, and I smashed the fuck out of that thing, because I was like, no, you're done. You were caught spying where you shouldn't have been. I haven't seen one since then. Yeah, it's good to know the monitoring spirits, like how you want to handle them. I let them know they're trespassing. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's see. I love that. Yes, flies are spies. I can't stand the thought of you with someone else. and I have sexual fantasies about you. That was a theme that was coming up yesterday. And that's we don't. You have to do the right thing when coming towards us. I was pretending to be someone else, and I want things to work out. Zyra, I'm still thinking about those texts from earlier today. Like, 2 exes have crossed my path this week, and I have chosen violence. And then it reminds me, I have very dark children. I have kind of a dark soul, but I have a dark children. And one of my kids, he's old now. Like, he's old enough. And he used to say when he was a kid, like, as a joke, because I think it was a meme, he's like, "Mother, I crave violence." Yeah. So that's, yeah. Yeah, but they aren't being correct. Neither of these exes are being correct. Like the one that I ran into on Tuesday, I know he manifests me. I know he tries to manifest me. Like I say, he was within my room 2 weeks ago, and I intentionally try to stay as far the fuck away from him. And Tuesday I ran into him, and sadly I spoke how I was feeling. After biting my tongue almost to the point of it biting the fucking tip off, I told him how I really felt. And like when I walked out, he was having a panic attack and he was on the floor kind of in a fetal position. Yet that was his own fucking fault. Like, he couldn't step up. Like, they can't ever meet me at the vibration. And I'm like, I can't keep laying on the floor with you. Like, you have to rise up. And he was, I'm lazy. Okay, well, you're fucking lazy, so get up and do the shit. I can't do it for you. This was another one that he wanted me to be a throuple in his relationship with his mom. And I'm like, no. And the ex today, like, he was a cheater, wanted to put me in third-party situations, wants to suck off my energy, but doesn't ever pay me shit. So they can miss me all they want. If they don't do the correct thing, they can also kiss my ass. Yeah. No love and light here. Lily Ones, if you're in, I want to discuss something real quick. I know Zyra's in. Anybody else is in, please say hello so we can keep that reciprocity going, because otherwise if I don't know you're here, it just, you get lost in the fray. All right, let's see what else. I love you. I love you, and there is so much I want to tell you. Well, you have to be a man. You have to open that door. You have to do the right thing. Whew. I know they miss me, Zyra. They always miss me, but they miss me after they fuck me over, and I say don't do that. They always think like, oh, she's always going to be there. No, I wish I could take it back. They always think like I'm going to be there until I'm not. I'm not Whitney Houston. I will not always love you. Like, I do believe in unconditional love. I do not believe in unconditional forgiveness. Like, more than twice is a pattern. And we don't do that shit here. I don't got time for it. Yeah. Like, the thing that bothers me is if I did the behavior that they did, they wouldn't tolerate it. So, get it! Nailed it! Oh my gosh. Nailed it! Okay. Oh, Lily Ones. Okay, so here's why I walked away from, I had started in the spiritual community. I was a brand new freaking baby, and shit got weird in that community. That being said, they were all they were trying to preach love and light and like forgiveness. So it was like, first off, the founders were living hypocrisy. First off, they're like, oh, you know, abstinence, but they were in polyamorous relationships. And they were doing inappropriate things. Second off, it was like, oh, forgive everyone. It's like, no, I don't have to forgive someone that abused me, first off. Second off, they didn't, like, the abusers don't ask for forgiveness. I don't have to forgive someone. Like, especially if they're not doing anything that warrants forgiveness. I realize forgiveness is for us, but what I've learned too is that I can love you and I can forgive you, but I can also tell you to never fucking call me again. Yeah, no, so these were like people that were like, yeah. Well, and they wanted me to like forget. And one, like I say, it was like abstinence, and she was polyamorous. And then the other one was like forgiveness, and she came from like church indoctrination. And she also was doing like a lot of spell work behind the scenes on me, on practitioners within the community, on all kinds of shit. The other rub of it was when I would tell, like, maybe not so much younger or like newer practitioners or people that didn't know who these people were, and I would say like, hey man, this is my experience. I'm not saying you have to believe me, but, you know, keep an eye on shit. Like, I'm very much about, like, keep an eye on shit. You don't have to believe me, but at least put it in the nugget so if something goes down sideways, you're not caught off guard like I was. And then it's, oh, you're just trying to start shit. You're trying to start drama. And I'm like, no, man, I'm telling you how they treated me so that you don't get caught in the same shit. Because that is the other part. I watched so many of the practitioners over the last few years rotate through that door and get treated like shit. And I'm like, I was warning you guys. And the other part of it is if you're friends with my enemy, you're not a friend. So like the people that would be like all chummed up together, and I'm like, hey, I told you that they were abusive and they hurt me. And instead of like taking any nugget of that, you actually let them into my life harder. No, fuck all the way off. Ooh, also, so they preach love and light, because there was a point where I started realizing, like, due to all of the shit that had happened in my life, like, no, I need to embrace my shadow. They were all trying to be like, oh, just, no, you have to embrace the shadow. Except for they were in the shadows. That's why they don't want us to embrace it. So part of today's spiritual housekeeping, house cleaning was removing some of that deep stuff from my life. Like, yes, because we grow in the dark. We grow in the cosmic womb. Plants don't start out growing in the sunlight. They start out growing deep in the dark. And it's also, and I love this card, maybe it'll come up, but it's that whole, like, you can only grow as high as your roots grow. Yeah. So it's the duality. Well, they wanted it just to be love and light while they were in the shadows. That was the problem. They wanted to be in the shadows, fucking everybody up. Yeah. Yes. Let me see if I can find this card. I know I won't be able to find it right easily off, like, as I'm looking for it, but I know if I were to shuffle, I would find it, right? We can only grow as high as our roots grow deep. So, and they threw so much dirt on, that's the other part of why they're so mad. They threw so much dirt on me. Instead of burying me, I grew. Because I am a seed. I grow in the fucking dark. And now they just have dirty hands in a whole group effort. And people are like, what the fuck? I am also a wildflower. I will grow anywhere. I will grow out of the sidewalk. So, I've proven that time and time and time again. Why would it be that the one time I'm actually looking for one specific card? Okay. So this is Six of Cups. Yes. And that's what pisses me off, is these people are out here intentionally taking advantage of people and not helping them get further and just taking their money. And it's like that. This is what bothers me, because it's like, it's already hard enough being in the spiritual community. And then when you have people who are out here as like the voice of like authority, and they're intentionally fucking people over, it's really hard. Okay, so what I love about this card, so Six of Cups, and what I love about it, because Six of Cups is about like taking stock, it's nostalgia, it's like looking at the past, but it's that whole, you can only grow as high as your roots are deep. And I love that. It's a beautiful representation and a reminder. It's like, yes, we have to take stock. We have to know what helps us grow in the past. We also have to know that the past is necessary. It's necessary to be in the dark and dig deeper. That's the other part of shadow work. The deeper you dig, the higher you can grow into heaven. It's like as above, so below. So, and as we tap into the nature cycles, it's again that process of, if you want to go higher, you have to know how deep you go. You have to know your dark side, because this is, oh man, such spiritual narcissists. Anyway, so they can't take accountability for the hurt that they've done. They just say, oh, I'm a good person. And I see that happen with like a lot of religious folk, where they're like, I'm a good person, I go to church, I tithe, I blah blah blah. But okay, you go to church and you tithe, but last week you fucking were at the strip club and doing coke off a stripper's ass. Like, that doesn't absolve that sin. Yeah. So, okay, so here's where it gets a little, because there's different timelines. So there are timelines where Kamala would win, yet that's not the timeline we're all on. And before that election, like, I already knew Trump was gonna win. And I don't even truly care about politics, because it's like, this was the stance I took the day before the election. First off, they're two wings of the same bird. Second off, neither of these candidates are speaking about corporate greed and corruption and the testing that's going on U.S. citizens, the experimentation that's going on American citizens. None of them are addressing that. None of them are addressing the pedophilia. None of them are addressing child trafficking. None of them are addressing the corrupt police. None of them are corrupt, the corrupt legal system. I don't give a fuck who wins. What I care about is, how are you protecting us? How are you taking care of the little people? Because the little people are what makes them run. And there's actually even bigger shit going on than all of that too. So, yeah. Yes. Okay, so that is the biggest part too, is that I'm not afraid, like, I'm not afraid of God. I'm afraid of his followers that follow that man in church. And that man in church, okay, I love, did you see the guy that his wife died from his suicide? He was arrested today. He was arrested for abuse. It's like, I'm not afraid of God because I can go out and talk to God. I talk to God every day. I talk to God because I talk to myself, and I am an embodiment of God. I don't trust anyone that has to go listen to another man who read a text. No. It's, is it John? Who the fuck was it? Hold on. So it was Micah is the wife. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, it was Micah Miller was the wife. J.P. Miller. So here, and you went, when her death was a suicide, that's bullshit. So it's, this is just something I read, like a brief. It says Micah Miller died by unaliving herself. But many closer believe that her husband JP coerced her. The FBI raided his home this week and his church is suddenly for sale. So, yeah. And there are a lot of, and this is what I also don't like, and because I've been through this experience, they've tried to get me to do everything to hurt myself, my ex-husband, my family, and I can talk about all of that. Like, I have a text that I can read from my son that I go, yeah, they were definitely trying to drive me over the edge so that I would jump myself. So, yeah. Yes. And actually, the more you tap into your connection with God, the bigger your bullshit meter comes. It's like, yes. Well, because it goes real deep. There are a lot of names on those lists of party goers. And there are names that would just make your head spin. And there you go from, so it's, and some of those biggest purchasers are within your own home. Ask me how I know that. And while I may not have ever been to a Diddy party, the town that I came from had a lot of old celebrities. So, the biggest purchasers are like your brother and your father and the guy next door. They like to purchase babies. I know that nobody ever wants to think or hear, no, it's, once they all start getting exposed, because it's like, I look at it and I look at how, my biggest abusers were within my family. And also, like I say, my family came from a town that had a lot of celebrities and old money. And I've talked about those celebrities. And I've talked about memories that have come up from my childhood. And yeah. I remember having a conversation last summer with a guy, and he had a young daughter. We need to be bringing light to it and justice. Like, I want fucking justice. I want it so, like, my brother can never hurt another little girl or another little boy, because he violated both. My brother-in-law, I want him never to be able to violate another kid or human at all, because he likes to also unalive people and collect insurance money on them. I want my whole family held accountable so my grandkids don't have to potentially be victims to men that shouldn't ever be walking the street again. I know that's very personal, and I know that's very personal, and here's why it hasn't been dealt with. They're protected by the lawyers and the doctors. So I had to autocorrect. I had to allow it. They get away with it because of money, and they get away with it. Yes, it's also. I'm gonna take just a quick little walk. I have to go to the bathroom really quick, and I'm gonna add more to that. So please hang tight. I'm gonna talk more about that as it goes even deeper. It actually is a government inside job. And think of like mind control. So I'm gonna get, if you are ready for that rabbit hole, we've got one, my love, because it goes real fucking deep. But yes, the lawyers do it too. Yes, and I hope that I take and I'm gonna blow that door wide the fuck open, because I've got a lot of details I can add to that, especially with what happened today. Yes, and so that is the other part of it. I'm being brave enough to speak about it so that you can speak about it. And then, because you don't know, like, here's the thing. When I talk about it and people look at you and say you're crazy, you're not crazy. And there's someone else that needs to hear all of our stories. Oh, man. When my ex today said, cool story, bro, and I said, it will be. Because, yeah, no, it wasn't that you're a Trump supporter. You just saw the writing on the wall on that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because whoever won, it doesn't matter. That's like a ball that's been set in play long before now. As far as Kamala, first off, nobody really truly trusts the Democratic side. But Kamala, if you look at like her history, how many people did she put away? And how dirty is her closet? And all of that jazz. Like, she was a attorney. And Zyra would be a great one to talk on Kamala, probably. Because you'd probably be more aware of her antics. But, yes, no, she is. Because she's a pick-me bitch. She's a pick-me. She is one that will trade. She sells women and children to be seen acceptable by men. And I am sorry, that is like Oprah. And we'll get into that in just a moment, because like, I guess there's so much I can kick on this one. Give me a minute. Let me get up and walk, because Oprah is so bad. Think of it. And because she's a woman, girls are going to trust her. I know. Just like Snoop Doggy Dogg is a Libra, and Snoop Doggy Dogg has been a bad, bad boy. Yes, Oprah is evil. And I don't trust, like the women that have never had kids, or that aren't like looking out for kids. Yeah, yep. So there we go. So a lot of people don't trust Kamala, because how many people did go to jail because of her policies? That's why she didn't have any fucking traction. First off, they don't trust the Democratic Party. Second off, her policies put a lot of people that shouldn't have been going to jail in jail. Yeah. That's why, Zyra, I'm so glad that I know you're busy doing stuff, but I was like, you would be the one to talk about Kamala. I was like, maybe that's just like a intuitive feeling, but I was there. Yeah. Except for, I know. That's the weird thing. They intentionally are playing fucking mind games, too. Yeah. No, they're putting it in our face. They're playing in our face. Just like in movies, they're playing in our face. In media, they're playing in our face. Because he doesn't trust himself. But he also... Okay. I'm going to run back. And then I'm going to come back. They have to tell us because it's 2024. They have to disclose. They have got to disclose because it's 2024. Nothing can be hidden anymore. So even him wearing a red hat and playing it in our face, that's because they have got to tell us everything. And that goes into a different conspiracy theory. Yeah, no, it won't be. No. And I'll get into that conspiracy theory when I get back. Give me a minute. Okay. And that is the whole point, lily ones. That is the whole fucking point. I want to look up something really quick though. Before I hop into this. Yes. Okay, so I love that you talk about that, Zyra, because I identify with like Atlantis, ancient Egypt, and the Mayans, and some of the, so like when people come at me, I'm like, I pray to the old gods. Like, yeah, Jesus and this God that they've created to create a false structure is cute, but it, like, the old gods. Oh, yeah, no. It did. Because King James Version, King James was a Mason. And a homosexual Mason at that. And nothing wrong with homosexuality. But it was like, it was all bastardized to fit a narrative. And if you look at the Bible, like, there's stuff in the Bible. He was killed. And we'll talk about that. Give me a minute. Mexico. Crash. I'm trying to look up a date really quick. Okay. So the crash in Roswell was 1947. We're going to put that date out for just a second. And why am I going to talk about it? The U.S. government, just a conspiracy theory, but just put it in your hat and it's going to kind of hopefully make sense. 1940, the U.S. made a treaty, 1944. They had an 80-year treaty. Now 8, right? Karma. So 44, we're in 2024. They had an 80-year treaty to do what they could do. And now that treaty is up. And if you've noticed, we're going to talk about Jesus in a minute. But if you notice, we've had a lot more aliens. We've had the veil is a lot thinner. That's because their time is fucking up. They can no longer, they can no longer do what they've done. Number 2, Jesus came and he said that you and he are greater than the Bible, the God of the Bible. And again, the Bible is like a history textbook. It's like the exploits of one man saying what God is. So God, like this God, is a lesser creator of the creator. And then he created a book about himself. But Jesus was a man. He came and he did great works. And he was trying to teach us, like, hey, you can do great works. Well, the guys in charge didn't like that. So, yeah. So, let me just, and here's what, he was killed, he was crucified to make an example. Like, don't be like Jesus, but then they made him the patron saint. Like, so, just like the other part of it, I'm gonna hop in. Yeah. I'm going to add some other parts of it in just a moment. I have to read some of the comments, so. Yep. It's just like, we have so many aliens around right now. Okay, so first off, why do you think all of the Bibles make, like, any of the Abrahamic religions? I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, but they make the woman a helpmate and a servant, because if we actually acknowledged how powerful women are, then we would start being able to take our power back. Because for the last 2,500 years, it's always been, oh, men are superior to women. Except women are the cosmic womb. Like, every man comes from a woman. And yes, every woman needs a man, but you need that womb space to be able to create life. So, of course, they would take and bastardize the text to make the man the hero. The other part of it, Jesus, like, okay, so Mary was a high priestess. Jesus needed Mary. And when Jesus was crucified, it was Mary who went on to teach the prophets and open the mystery schools. So, no. That's what smacked me as a kid, reading the Bible. Like, that's why I was like, fuck this, because they always said how the women were evil and the women were servants and the women, no. Like, if you look at, like, ancient Egypt, who had the power? Yes. Jesus is a mystic. And Mary, so, like, I identify, and Mary can be called so many different versions, but I identify with Mary. I was meant to be the high priestess. I love Billy Carson. I've read a little bit of the Emerald Tablets, but I haven't gotten too far in it. And I love that Alcatraz all of a sudden came over and got real possessive. I was like, oh, women are powerful as fuck. Like, look at how much we endure to give birth to children. Like, badger. Bro. Yeah. Yeah. No, they degrade us so they can control us. And Zyra, I'm not meaning to be like totally like feminist here. Like, I know we need men. I know we need men, but the problem is right now it's like there's so much division that it's like men don't realize, like, I think what makes me mad, and it's like women didn't get rights to vote and be like, we're still seen as property. Yeah. And here's the thing with men too, how a man acts when no other men around is completely different. And even when other men are around, it's disgusting. And just like women, the women who will do anything for a man's vote, and it's like, do you realize how fucked up that is, that you would rather sell out another woman to make a man happy? And that's not trying to be like, it's just like, if he does it to me, this is something that I've really been kind of sitting on. If he does, like, people that cheat, right? If he cheats with you, he's going to cheat on you. So the women that like help destroy other women based on men's opinions, it's like, if he does that to you, what is he going to do to you and to your children? And I've watched that happen with my ex-husband. It's like him and his wife and everybody else that tried to tear me down. I'm like, if he does it with you, what is he going to do to you and your children? No, it isn't common sense, because I watched my own daughters do it. Like, I've watched my daughters where they had a friend that was accused of doing things horrible. And she took the man's side. And then it came out to prove that the girl was right, but she had already sided with the man to impress her dad. That was the thing. She did it to impress her dad. I was like, be so fucking for real right now. Yeah. It's the people that cheat on you. They'll cheat, like, they cheat with you. They'll cheat on you. Just like if they steal with you, they'll steal from you. And I'm just like, how do you guys not see? But then they turn around like, oh, I didn't know he was like that. Yeah, you did. You helped plot and plan to help him do that. Like, be so fucking for real. I guess that ties into like the Kamala and the Oprah thing. It's like, if you were a handler, because Oprah's a handler, right? So you're selling out other women and children. Like, what makes you think that that's someone who's going to have any type of loyalty to you? Like, he's going to sell you out too. And I don't know. I'm just like, this whole fucking society is bass backwards. Sorry, I'm trying not to get bitten by a cat right now, because she's a spicy tamale, but she likes to bite me. Like, micro bite me. And I'm like, come on, girl. She normally becomes really present when Zyra's around. Or someone. It's normally like Zyra and someone else is always in, and she always gets like super clingy and in my face. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm just trying not to get bitten by my little thug kitty. She's very protective. Just like the masculine. I have a lot of masculine energies that protect me, and very much like that too. Yeah. Well, like I say, it's always when men are around, she gets super clingy. Except for she's attached to a masculine energy. Yeah. My former kitty. Oh, Jay-Z is gonna take so many people with him. And I can't wait. Just like Beyonce. Okay, so I'm going to say this. Beyonce's going to be in a box. She's never getting out of that. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Hold on. Let me brew my tea really quick. Woo. Sorry, Alcatraz. Hold on, baby. I don't know why tea sounds really good right now, but get your tea. Get your tea. We're gonna snuggle in. I'm also gonna get some food while I'm up here because I'm kind of hungry now. So I get my salad out. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. You know when you come in, you have to, it's food time, it's tea time, it's get comfortable time. We got lots of spiritual shit to talk about. Weird random rabbit holes to go down. I just fed you, little dude. I just fed you right before I got on the stream, sir. I don't believe that you're starving. I do believe that we're going to have company soon, though. Yeah, is that what you feel? Whew. Zyra, were you in yesterday while I was streaming outside? I don't remember if I don't think I actually saw you get on the stream, like, chat, but were you in yesterday while I was streaming outside? Because that was the goal today, but then, I was fighting with my ex, and all of my neighbors were doing some sound pollution today, intentionally to fuck with my recording, so... Otherwise, I would have been outside again today. I was enjoying my outside yesterday, but too many people were trying to be intrusive today. And I pissed off my ex, so, you know, he has to bombard me with shit. Because he's like that. I know you're seeing my butt, but that's okay, guys. I want to speak on something really annoying with social media for a minute, too. Okay, cool. TikTok has been flagging some of my shit. I did not, but please let me know. TikTok has been flagging some of my shit because I'm wearing tank tops and it's too revealing. But I'm like, people are buying kids on Wayfair. But I can't wear a fucking tank top as an adult woman because it shows too much skin and it's too revealing. I'm like, gross. I know, Zara, you have many cats. I relate with Bastet also, and Bastet, and I'm trying to think of who else, because there's so many kitties out there, but yeah. Well, so when I say Beyonce, like, it feels like nothing because she's going to be put in a box by her family, like in a box, like Queen Elizabeth was, if that makes sense. Yeah. Will you not try to eat my salad, please? Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to say okay. So, yeah, TikTok. I was like, be so fucking for real. You're flagging me for the stupidest shit. Okay, if you listen to how Rihanna was signed, they kept her in a room. Her dad let her go, and they kept her in a room. I think she was like 13 years old until like 3 a.m. And I'm like, where the fuck was her dad? Of course, he was just worried about money. Come on, back up. And you know what disturbs me about the fucking Ashton Kutcher thing? Because I just saw something with him the other day. But he had that whole Danny Masterson. Yeah. They had the whole Danny Masterson thing, him and Mila. Well, he was running... he was running the nonprofit to help stop sex trafficking. I was like, he wasn't stopping sex trafficking. He was trafficking, if that makes sense, under the guise of stopping sex trafficking. So, yeah. No, her dad sold her. Her dad sold her. We're all going to start seeing that come out, though. Because, again, it's 2024. That's why all this is following. Yep. No, when they came out... When that guy came out as being accused of impropriety and Mila and Ashton didn't denounce him, I'm like, I don't know, man. Okay, so the Rihanna thing, also, she's made videos saying how she had to sell her soul. And if we want, do you want to dive into a deeper rabbit hole there? Because we can go there too. All these celebrities are putting it, like, they have to show us what really is going on. Because it is going on in our own homes. So it's like we go and we buy celebrities. Like, we purchase their products, but it's going on within our own home. So they're just putting it under a microscope. It's like if you watch the Barbie movie. I love the Barbie movie, and I watched it, and they were talking about how, like, we all need to wake up and we all need to embrace our differences because everybody is needed on board right now. The celebrities are just making it obvious, and hopefully the ones that are awake will start actually doing the right fucking thing. Yeah. It was like Beyonce being there for Kamala Kamala rallies. That should have been like a real fucking red flag. That's probably was a huge red flag for so many people. Was like Beyonce, like, yeah, a lot of people like Beyonce, but I think a lot of people now have seen Beyonce in a different light. Now when I listen to some of her music and I'm like, yep, nope. Yeah. I am. And as far as the war thing, oh. Yeah. No, it's like J-Lo, it was Elon Musk that called J-Lo out. He's like, you warned everybody about Trump, but you didn't say a damn thing about Diddy. Of course, Diddy had a lot of people under him, just like Epstein. Yeah. No. When you listen to some of Beyonce's shit, and you're like, that's really fucking dark. And now how celebrities that didn't applaud her or thank her ended up having mysterious accidents. If you like Robin Williams, there is a special on YouTube about his death. I don't think his death was an accident. I think he was getting ready to blow the whistle on shit. And his family made him look sick, and then he, yeah. I think, there's a lot of other people too. Like Brittany Murphy. I think her husband was her handler, and then when her husband knew too much, because she was going to blow the whistle on, I think, Diddy and Ashton. And then when her husband knew too much, then they did him in too. Yeah, of course they did. I watched the... Yeah, yep. They sure are. Here's the problem I have with war. I really do. They're sending soldiers off to fight wars for men that only want more money and power. And they're sending off soldiers to do their bidding when they wouldn't even do it themselves. Yeah. They are doing magic. Just like the Travis Scott. Like, there's so many of the, war is a business. And I hate it. Because we have how many men going off. And actually, so these soldiers, I'm going to speak on this. I look at, because I was with my ex for a very long time. And there was a very marked difference, because he was in the military. Let's preface that by saying that. He was in the military, and I've realized a lot of shit about the military, and I've realized a lot of shit about our government. And something happened when he went to training. He was gone for 3 months. We were married. He was gone for 3 months. And shit was never the same after that. I don't know what the military is fucking doing to our men. Yeah. It depends. Okay, so it depends on the military. So, like, I do have props for certain countries that everyone has to serve, right? Because then it's like, if you, I'm gonna drop some, yeah. We can speak shit on the royal family all we want, except for they also served in the fucking military. So it wasn't, like, you know, they picked and choose. In, like, the royal family, it was like, everyone served in the military. It didn't matter who the fuck you were. So it's a different thing. Just like when you go to, what country is it? I think it's Israel, maybe where everyone serves. So, different story. And remember how I said that they're experimenting on everyday people. The military, the government, they're experimenting on everyday people. And I came from a government family. My father was in the military. My ex was in the military. Yeah. I spoke on this yesterday, and I'm just going to talk on it today. Or maybe it was today. I talked about it earlier. One of the contractors that worked on my house, and he had huge PTSD. He was a combat veteran, and he had huge PTSD. And we had conversations about various things, and he would talk about how he would like blind out, and he would wake up and he would be choking someone like against the wall kind of thing. But he talked weirdly about how those soldiers had to listen to rape victims talk about their PTSD from rape until the soldiers would cry. Well, I realized those soldiers like those stories, and they like inflicting that. Also, though, because it's supposed to make them realize, like, their things aren't that bad. No, it creates, like, a breeding ground. Yeah, no, it was weird to hear it. Like, now I totally get the fucking ick when I think about it, how this dude talked about, the other part of it, and to go to my personal, so one of our neighbors was, and I know this is so unpatriotic, but due to personal trauma, one of our neighbors who was also a huge abuser of mine, and he was a giant man, and I was a little girl, was a Vietnam vet. So he was like 6'4", and buried all of his rage in me from what he saw during Vietnam. So it's really hard when people would say to, like, Vietnam vets, like, thank you for your service. And now I look at it and go, yeah, no, those vets came home and they did horrible, atrocious things to little kids here on Earth, on American soil. It is spiritual. Just like narcissism, spiritual. Okay, World War III. Actually, let's talk about some fun. Gosh, I hate, like, so many different fucking conspiracy theories and, like, just so much to get into. I love this. Thank you, Zyra. Thank you, Lily Ones, for being, like, an active part of this conversation, because that's how we get way deep down into the rabbit hole. And if the government comes for me, it was a good roll we had, guys. Like, if I get shut down, I mean, you guys know why, but thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I love being able to talk about this. I wish I had the fundage to be able to be smoking weed right now. Oh, I'm not going anywhere. We're still talking, but I'm just saying, like, if you guys never see me again, you know why. That being said, I love talking about this stuff. And if I had weed right now, if I could fucking afford weed, and if I had weed right now, these are the conversations I want to be having at 3 a.m. with my friends. So this is like a stream that if the weed were within my possession right now, I'd be all like, fuck, we'd be high, and talking about conspiracy shit. Yeah. Okay, so World War III is the war of the worlds. And it is a spiritual, I mean, they've all been spiritual wars. It's all been wars about religion, but it really is a spiritual war. And a lot of it is the government against everyday people. I've been saying that for a hot minute. I've been saying that for a minute. So I love that we got into that, because World War III, this is spiritual, and it is everyday people against military. And the spiritual narcissists, they really are just overtaken by other forces. Yeah, oh my gosh. I think I've been 5 weeks sober. That was the other part, when my ex is like saying that I need my head checked and I'm crazy and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm sober as a fucking judge. Like, nicotine and caffeine. I talked about that the other day. So, when he wants to say, like, oh, you're delulu. No, man, I'm sober as a fucking judge. And I'm not crazy. I've had my head checked. I went to therapy for many years. It turns out that delulu and that cognitive dissonance and my craziness was actually from being living with a narcissist. Because narcissists, it does change your fucking brain chemistry. It does change your brain chemistry. So my brain damage was caused from my mom and from my ex. And yeah. And narcissists it is spiritual. It is demonic. And that's not anything wrong. That's just loving someone and then saying no. No more. Well, okay. Yes, because aliens will come to give us knowledge. But remember how I said we were in an 80-year treaty? That treaty's over. So all that technology that we were given by higher life forms that we abused, they had until this year to correct it. And time's up. So, here we go. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, they didn't, because greed. And now their time is fucking up. So, and that's also timeline splits too. Yeah. I'll drop a little nugget. Because there are aliens. Looking at one. Blonde hair, blue eye. Yeah. No, it's because humans aren't that intelligent, but we've been kept that way by our government. They've intentionally been shortening our lifespan, making us sick, dumbing us down by polluting our food, polluting our water. I have it somewhere, I'm not sure where it is, but it's called The Secret Covenant, and it talks about how, yes, they're trying to poison our water. Other species don't want anything to do with us, because look at how we treat each other when we're different. If a gray walked up to you, and actually when grays, like they've been showing all these different species on camera, right? Because everything's CCTV, and people just think it's CGI, and it's like, it's not fucking CGI. Open your fucking eyes. Like, people were so blind that when a gray would show up, they would try to kill it. That's why grays don't show, well, now they do, but they couldn't show up because people would be like, oh my god, it's different than me, it's, blah, 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 blah. And then they would hurt it. Well, that wasn't the point. The grays are here to help. All of the aliens are here to help. So, because we can't even get along with our neighbor who's a different color than us, so gray alien, like you have the different species, right? So grays are tall. They're like what we think of like Roswell, New Mexico, like the tall, the bald head, gray body, asexual, big eyes. Yeah. Thank you, Zyra. Yep. There's so many different kinds, but like gray is what we think of because that's what mainstream, think of primacy. Like if you think of primacy as like whatever you're taught first, that's what you think that it is. So grays, because that's what we experienced from Roswell and from movies as the primary, that's what we all think an alien is. when we don't realize aliens look just like us. Just like the demon face, you know how people are saying like they see demon face? No, the veil's just thin. They can't hold the frequency anymore. Hopefully all this makes sense. Are you guys all on board? Are you all tracking? Are you all like geeked out that we're talking about this? Yeah. No. Yes, they're called hybrids. I love Zyra because I'm over here like chewing away. Yes, Lily ones, they're hybrids. And some of us are hybrids and we were asleep. Zyra and I and you, and there's probably a bunch of us. That's probably why we find each other. It's also probably why we don't have any tolerance for people being assholes. And racism and all that shit. I'm glad we're talking about this too. I love it. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you just noticed Chesmosa over here just hopped up. Yeah. So, okay, Lily, let's my hybrid, yeah, she's, well, and then to make it even more confusing, I have another tuxedo cat that is a bobtail. She has no tail. And we're going to talk about hybrids right here, right now. So we all, you know, all of the solar flares, all of the Schumann resonance. Let me know, like, thumbs up if you understand that part of it. And I'm going to talk about how this relates to me too, how this ties in, and hopefully you'll understand. Woo. God, there's, okay. This is fun. We're going to deep dive, and hopefully Zyra, since I've talked about this with Zyra, I know I'm talking and maybe that's annoying, but, okay, so the solar flares, we're constantly hit with solar energy, right? And they've been increasing as we've gotten closer to 2024, and even this year we've been hit more and more with solar flares. Where it's funny, because as above, so below, our governments have been hitting us with electronic weapons. So like man-made solar flares. So they've been experimenting on us while the earth has been bombarding us. So then let's add this part of it. We had like DNA, like we had caps put on our DNA. In Lily ones, please let me know if I'm going too fast here. But we had caps put on our DNA. So we couldn't make it past a certain level or plane unless we were correct. So like they put a cap on our DNA strands so that if we were going to be bad, we couldn't contaminate the higher realms or the higher planes. Okay. Where did I lose you? Because I can totally backpedal, but like it's... So, okay. Like, like a cap. So like if you wanted to put a lid, like a cap on the DNA. So they put a seal on the DNA so you couldn't contaminate. So, and actually, hold on. we're going to stand up and kind of imagine it chakra-wise too. So we talk about the chakra system. We have 7 main chakras, the heart being number 4. So say if we don't want the lower chakras to bring up like low vibrations to the upper chakras, we would have a cap at the heart. Like when our heart is closed, I love that I talk about it that way too. So between the realms, right? If our heart is closed, you won't bring the negative low energy up to your higher chakras and potentially cause bad juju. So if you had like a demon, a sex demon, and I don't know if this makes sense or if I'm going too fast, but if you had like a demon in your lower chakras, if your heart was closed, you couldn't have it infect your brain, per se. Hopefully that makes sense. It probably doesn't. Maybe I went too off the rails there, but let me know where you need me to back. Watch out, Miss Alcatraz. Thank you, love. Yes. So when you start upgrading your DNA, like if you go through a Kundalini awakening and you start opening that heart chakra. Yes. So thank you, Zyra, for adding that. I'm trying to figure out how to. So it's like the higher dimensional beings put caps and closed off. And when you start opening, yes. So when you, or think of it like an energy block or a channel. So if you are closed off here, you can't let it contaminate your brain or like the higher dimensions, like the ethereal dimensions. Yes. So it's not cap means blocked. It's like, it means just that channel's closed. And when you meet the correct frequency, so if you were to rise to a higher frequency, you would be able to bypass the heart. So it's the same kind of with DNA. Like, or not DNA, but like so the caps for like humans, they sealed it off so they couldn't get to those higher realms. That was a lot. And once we start changing our frequency, and that's done through energy. So think, you know how when we do a lot of sound stuff and we do Reiki stuff, that's raising the vibration. It's removing those energetic blocks. Okay. All right. Hold on. So some of these hybrids, yeah. Yes. So here's where it's funny for me, because I don't go to the doctor anymore, but I know they want my DNA. They shouldn't have cut off my health insurance. So, hybrids, because we need the races to catch on, like the human races. We need the human races to be able to catch on. Otherwise, the creators are going to have to like pull the plug, right? And close off some of those dimensions. So the hybrids, we were implanted deep within to be able to help raise the frequency. Yeah. Yes. So those of us hybrids, 2020, we were all put in time out. Those hybrids, we were awoken. A lot of us started the first wave of awakening. Some people were already awake, right? But for those of us, like for me personally, like I was an older bitch. So I was like deeply entrenched in there so that I could awaken up everybody as I came up out of it. And whoever I could wake up, I woke up. And whoever I can wake up, I'm helping try and wake up and raise that vibration and frequency. Yeah. Yes. So we all were, baby. We were all asleep. But remember how I said 2024 yeah. So yes, you can, Lily Ones. And we're gonna circle back to Jesus, because this is where this comes in too. Hopefully all of this is making sense and engaging, and you guys are catching on, and you like this. I mean, I don't just like I like doing bigger stuff than tarot. I really do. So, I love that you talk about X-Men and Wolverine. Did you see the most recent one, Zyra? Because I don't really normally love superhero stuff, but I did see it and want to make a point on it. Yep. Same. I love that you're on this tribe and this vibe because I am the same. So the thing with X-Men, and this felt so true about my marriage, Wolverine failed because he was too busy being drunk. And he didn't protect the school or the children. And the same thing happened with my ex-husband. And that's what, like, with movies, like, they have to tell us, they have to show us. Yeah. 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 I tried to... okay. That's why sometimes I get really careful when I speak or don't speak. And that's also why I know the power of my words on other people. And that's why normally I try to not have a harsh tongue or let my shadow out. Because I know what my shadow side is. That's why I don't like to get mad. Okay, so when we all decide to incarnate, we all decide to take a role. So like the hybrids, like you made a contract with the creator and your family and everything else to play a certain role or play a certain archetype. So like the hybrids, we chose to come for this mission to help be part, like help wake up our gifts in this timeline. Hopefully that makes sense. Like you and I and Zyra, we agreed for the mothership to drop us off for a field trip. And that pisses me off. Like I keep writing to them like, hello, Camp Granada. Like, can you please fucking come and get me from camp because I'm tired? Yeah. Like we chose from the mothership to come down here and serve special missions and be like have powers. We chose it. We're all hybrids. We're all aliens. We're all from somewhere else. So, I mean, we're all hybrids. It's just who wakes up to their special powers like X-Men and Wolverine and who decides to stay asleep and be demonic. NPCs. It's like when you look... Okay, so when you look around, you're like, that person's awesome. It's probably a hybrid. When you look at that person, and you're like, they're dumber than a box of rocks. They're an NPC. Yeah? And they will awaken eventually, too. Maybe it's just not this lifetime. Yeah? Like, they're... Like, for me... I know that this is my last lifetime incarnating like this. Like I will, yes, I'll be around to be like a ascended master, like a ancestor, but this is my last time reincarnating. So, I mean, I still have a lot of, well, we're here for both, but we're here to help. Like, this is my last time, like, having a lesson. And that being said, I also know, like, I'm living a long life. I was thinking about that too. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Like, I still have a long life ahead of me, but this is my last life of reincarnating. And I've known that for a few years. Like, this is my last life that I'm here for lessons. Like, I'm here to help throughout the rest of this lifetime. And that's why also, for those of us that have been karmically dense, like we've been releasing a lot of karma in the last 4 years, that's because we are here to help everyone else ascend. And everybody's in different phases. Okay, so I talk about this, and I was thinking about this because I know I'm going to have a long lifetime. I know I got a lot of life left and a lot of lifetime in this. I was mad because I was like, okay, the cardinal signs, so Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, right? We're done with, like, we have less than, what day is today? What's the date today? The 7th. We have 12 days before we exit a 16-year karmic cycle. But then I saw a video the other day, and it's like the cardinal signs being excited, but then the fixed signs, those of us that had cardinal signs in the main, and then now we have fixed signs that are going into a 19-year karmic cycle, it's like, it just makes me want to cry. But then I'm like, no, we're here to learn and to help and grow. So if we can lean into it, like whatever this lesson is that we're learning in this section of life, we get to go home. Like, I know the last 4 years have been super fucking hard for me, but I also know that I'm not coming back. So even if I'm going to live another however many years, like, I'm going to enjoy it and I'm going to learn every lesson because I'm not doing another Earth tour. Yeah? I mean, that all sounds woo-woo, but lessons are blessings in disguise because we learn what we'll never do again. So we don't have to keep repeating the lesson. It's like when you date a certain person and you're like, I'm never going to date anybody like that ever again. That's a blessing. It was a lesson, but it's a blessing all around. That doesn't mean I won't cuss a bitch out in the meantime. Yeah. Lessons are sometimes the biggest blessings because it really is like, I'm never going to do that ever again. You learn. If it's painful enough, you fucking learn. Might as well lean in and have fun. Enjoy the scars you get along the way. I'll be back to, I need to run and pee really quick. And take my tea bags out. Since I made tea. I'll be right back. Give me like 3 minutes. I was hoping Davey would hop in. It's a special day for that man. I was hoping he'd hop in. I'm glad we got some good chatting in. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I'm gonna run to the bathroom now. I'll be right back. Awesome. Well, so by the time we get back from doing like our little break, your food will be ready. You have to tell us what you made, Zyra. Okay, so I love that we're kind of into some different. Okay. Seashell pasta. Oh. Ooh. So I'm not a huge cumin person. Although if you think of R.I.P.D., where they use cumin to make the Ditto pop, or like the NPCs more or less. Man. I don't know. I wasn't raised with cumin. So for me, it's kind of like it's a hard thing to like love. I also wasn't raised with like a lot of different ethnic foods other than Mexican food, but that's because we came from Arizona. But I wasn't raised with like a lot of ethnic foods because my dad was very meat and potatoes kind of person. So it sounds delicious though. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I need to find a good Indian place to eat at around here. Like there's one kind of close to here, but right now finances are super fucking hard, so I can't afford it, and I can't afford to drive there. I know that that's all changing, but god damn it, like I miss eating good food. I was thinking while I was back there, because my tea, like I wasn't loving my tea, but I didn't start drinking tea like brewed tea, herbal tea, until 3 years ago. Like it was always coffee. I fucking loved coffee. And so opening the tea was a new thing. I was also thinking while I was back there that I was like, I can't wait till I can drink some cacao and have like a cacao ceremony. But I need like the time and the space and the resources to be able to do cacao. But I can't wait to do it, and I can't wait to do it with other people too. So, I kind of wanted to talk about some twin flame shit. When Lily Wins comes back, I want to talk about that because that goes into like a deeper mission too. And that's something that is brought to us by media, but it's also true. And I've got the sources to talk about that, and yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to shake my hair out. I did like a shampoo. Oh, that would be amazing. Where are we gonna meet, man, so we can do some cool shit together? So, yeah, to go back to the hybrid thing, and some of that goes into twin flame shit too, and that's a fun story or nest to kick. Yeah. I was also, so part of why I didn't want my kids to come over this weekend, it's a safety issue. Like, they can't keep me safe. They can't keep themselves safe. And I know I've talked about the ex that murked his girlfriend. Well, he's potentially out there roaming the streets and he wants to hurt me. And keeping my kids away this weekend is financially I can't afford it. Like, I don't have the gas to go pick them up, and I don't have the food to feed them in my house. And the other part of it is a safety issue, is that my kids have intentionally done things to jeopardize myself and their safety. That doesn't have to do with it kind of does have to do with twin flame, but it doesn't. But, they have done things to jeopardize their safety and mine. And I'm like, this weekend having them over, I'm like, that could potentially be disastrous. So everyone's at a distance right now due to safety concerns. So oh, that's fun. That's actually kind of a fun conversation to talk about with we will so also within the spiritual community, because not many people know about twin flames, and to go kind of about the hybrid line and our missions, people give such horrible advice on love and twin flame stuff, and I'm like, it's very, first off, twin flames are very rare. Second off, people, yeah, I get that. That was, so part of, like, I know I'm going to be traveling pretty soon. So, and that was part of my, that was part of what I was pissed off about today too. Cause I'm like, my ex, one of the things the only reason I agreed for him to follow his career path was if we ever got separated, that I would have flight benefits. Well, he cut that off. And I'm like, so he intentionally grounded me, which that goes into a lot of other things. But, yeah. The thing that I hate about, like, twin flames is people want to romanticize that. And I'm like, it's not an easy journey at all. And people give horrible advice. And I know I make people really mad when they talk about, when I talk about love or whatever. And I'm like, I also know what happens when I go against, like, divine relationships, because I get punished different than other people. So people will just be like, oh, just go out and have sex with so-and-so. And I was like, no, you don't understand what happens. Like, I don't get held to the same standards as other people, if that makes any type of sense, or if that, yeah. just lost steam. I was just, like, that was kind of a weird topic to go towards. Yeah. Happy birthday, say Davey. I was hoping you would show up. Slacker. Slacker. I know my hair looks crazy. Or have you been here the whole time just lurking? Oh. Weirdo. I could have said happy birthday earlier. I could sing for you, I guess. So you were just listening to us all chit-chat like a weirdo? Oh my gosh. I know it's your birthday. I know all about the Scorpios. Come on now. I also know you guys are jealous and possessive. Yeah, I knew it was your birthday. Happy birthday, bitch. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Chat is really chatty, but that's how you get like a stake in the claim. That's how we get to talk about shit. When you guys reciprocate energy with me, it's like when you guys reciprocate money with me. Like, it's a lot easier to stay in chat. Because then, you know, I'm making money. We're reciprocating energy. Chat is really chatting, and I love that. I'm a chatty girl. I like attention. I like energy exchange, because otherwise I go do other shit. Because if people aren't reciprocating energy, then it's like, why are we here if nobody's getting along or if nobody's talking to me? Like, I don't like sitting here talking by myself. Oh. Excuse me. Yeah. In a good way. It's been good energy tonight. I also did a lot of release work. I went to the Crossroads today, and I had a huge blowout with 2 of my exes this week. But one of the big exes, I had a really big blowout with today, which felt really fucking good. I like sparring with that motherfucker, but, you know, can't really do that. And he pisses me off. Like, he makes me feel very ragey and stabby, but that's another story. Stimulation from a certain person makes me feel very animated, if that makes sense. You know what it is? I'm going to say this. The person that I was sparring with today is very few people can match my vibe, and the person that I was sparring with today is we are very equally yoked in our okay, I'm gonna say this a different way. Okay, you know, as a Scorpio, how there are most people you don't want to really fuck with because they're not worth your time. Like, they're not equally yoked to you in either ability to handle intensity or such. Yeah. So most people, and this isn't meant to be as like a, most people don't have the capacity to be able to keep paces with me. So today, like, as much as this person drives me crazy, he is able to, like, keep up with me, if that makes sense. So while I'm, like, he makes me want to fight, and that's not something I really ever want to do with people. Normally, I just want to leave people the fuck alone. Like, if you piss me off, normally I'm like, go the fuck away. But he's one of those people that I actually want to spar with, but he don't want to spar. I don't really want to spar with him, but I do, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a fucked up situation. It's a whole fucked up situation. Yet it's, I don't know. Most people aren't worthy opponents. So, if they're not worthy opponents, I'm just like, get the fuck out of my face. Although I think he probably feels about the same because he sat and sparred with me for a long time today, which is not, we don't do it that often, but when we do, it's like it's a few hours. And yet, because of how he's painted it all we can do is spar through the phone occasionally once a year for a few hours. Other than that, I just tell him to fuck off and go spar with his wife because he chose that. Oh, I probably said too much. I probably said too much about everything, but don't care. Yeah, so yeah. I went to the crossroads today. Did you see the picture of the guardian that I met at the crossroads today? Did you see that part, or were you not lurking at that point? Oh, excuse me. That was very... Let me show you the friend I met at the crossroads today, because I was doing some savage Scorpio spiritual house cleaning today. So today I ended up in the crossroads. And I'll show you the friend I met. He was, oh my gosh. Every time I go to this place, animals come up to me, which is not supposed to happen because it's kind of like a secluded place where there wouldn't really be too many animals, but somehow they always come out of the woodworks whenever I come up on this. So this was my crossroads friend today. So Anubis was with me, and he has the same colorings as my normal dog. So I was like, okay, I know that, the guardians are with me as I walk into the underworld today. So if I could have brought this little baby home with me, I would have. Look at that face. Yes. So, like I say, for me, the Blue Jays were in when I went, and that's one of the guardian, that's some of the family guardians is Blue Jays. And then Anubis was in with me. He was a cool doggo, and he actually sat with me for a little bit while I was in the cemetery. So, like I say, I had to do some spiritual house cleaning. I took some objects to be dealt with. I don't know how else to I don't know how to talk about it without, because it may not always make sense, but sometimes people like to do graveyard magic on me. I like to take and deposit their stuff in the graveyard if that is applicable or tracks. and let the spirits do with them as they wish. Today's adventure, though, was to drop off an item for someone that hopefully they'll find, but they may not find it if they don't go back to talk to their ancestors and feed their guardians like I've told them to do, multiples of them to do. They may not find that object. If they listened to my advice, they would have gotten a lot farther. If they paid me appropriately, they would have gotten a lot farther, but they didn't want to pay me for my work. They just wanted to rip me off. And yeah. Isn't he adorable? I love how the universe sends me help, though, and they send me messages. I'm like, God damn, okay, I hear you. God damn. Like, that puppo is also reminiscent of one of the childhood dogs that, like, our family friend had. So it was definitely a good little reminder and a good little touch into, like, cleaning up some of that emotional trauma and wounding. Especially because I ran across pictures of that person later this evening. I ran across pictures of him with my kids and was like, yep, no, that's where a lot of trauma came from. And that ties back into dachshund dogs. So it's been a weird fucking day for spiritual housekeeping. Like, I literally gotten it from every end today. I do love how I went on that field trip and the messages from that certain party where silence was on that field trip. Yes. Okay, so Zyra, let me see if I can find that picture. It's really hard to see, but I had a black cat in the yard yesterday. So I love that animals are coming to me. Like, there's animals coming to me. There's guardians coming to me to tell me about shit right now. Let me see if I can get a picture of that. He was really far away, though, so he's kind of hard to see. Because I hate saying but. Okay, I'm gonna show just a picture. Look at how cool this picture is. Yeah. You can tell the people that animals flock to. You can tell the people that animals flock to. Like, it really says a lot when animals flock to people. Let me see. I'm one of those animals come up to me. Animals just come up to me, and sometimes it's terrifying. Like, that's how I ended up nose to nose with a longhorn bull. Was I was out and I didn't know that bad boy was coming, and he came right the fuck up to me, like between me and the ring light. Like, I could have reached out my hand and touched him. So let me see if I can find this kitty. Okay, so he looks like a blob. But this was the kitty that was in my yard the other day. I was like way down. This was zoomed in, but I was way down the driveway. And there was a black cat in the yard. I know it just looks like a blob. Maybe it isn't a cat. But anyhow. It's probably also why. Yeah. I wouldn't do that. Say, Davy, I wouldn't do that. It's probably the cat in the yard, because I do have cats that will come by. It's probably why my cats have been watching the back window, especially the last few nights, because I think I've had some spirit animals coming up. But when I see spirit animals coming up, that means that I'm about to have visitors or have a new entrance, like a new person enter my house. So. Oh, okay. So, Say Davy, I'm going to show you. This is from the reading on Tuesday. I was shuffling and one of the cards fell on the floor and fell against my cat. It's like, yeah, it's my angel baby. He helps me do readings. Yeah. I have, oh, okay, CTV, I don't know why I thought of you when I thought of this today, but it's like, does your cat bite? No, worse, she judges. Okay, well, that's me showing off the kitties. The kitties! Or, hold on. Well, I was going to show a picture of Abel. So one of the cats, he sleeps like our old dog. Like, he just lays, like, he always has the coolest sleep positions, but he loves to sleep, like, sprawled on his back, like, everything out there for the world to see. And I'm like, can you have some modesty, please, Abel? Say, Davey, you waited so long, but man, my phone's about to die. You always catch me when, like, my phone's about to die, man, which is cool, but then you also don't get as much airtime with me. Oh my gosh. So, I think I've talked about how, like, my house typically has the sleepy librarian vibe, like, sleepy library vibe, so normally, when I'm working really hard, my coworkers are snoring away. And I'm like, you lazy bums, can you help me out here? Like, can we not be sleeping? But I guess that's also good that all the animals feel at peace and sleep in my house. So, yeah, I hear a lot of snoring. I'm surprised Badger's not snoring. If I actually turn... If you can see how relaxed he is right now. He's definitely out. Which, no, it's late, man. It's, what, almost 1? Oh, I don't know what time it is. No, it's almost 1. So no, it's, oh, you guys don't want to see that, I'm sure. No, I don't need anybody to bother me. I've already had enough bothering today. I already had, like I say, I had spiciness today already. I had spiciness this week. I've dealt with 2 exes this week, and I left both of them in the fetal position. So bothering my peace, like, that's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I like peace. Underneath all that peace, I have a lot of chaos in me, and I go from fun to feral to federal really fucking fast. Like, I love peace, but if you're gonna bother my peace, we're gonna throw, if that makes sense. So yeah, you don't want to see me angry, because when I get angry, it's like terrifying. I talk about, okay, so here is the thing with men. When you guys have intimate relationships with women, you bury your anger inside of us, and you bury your pain and your sadness. I may only be 5'2". I'm already, I don't know what to tell you, man. Good luck. Okay, so I may be 5'2", But if you were in when I was talking about all of the soldier stuff and the PTSD and all of that, I may be 5'2", but I was assaulted by a PTSD riddled vet who was 6'4" when I was a little kid. So all of his rage and anger was buried in me at a little age. So I'm 5'2", because if I were a 6-foot man, I would do a lot of damage. So that's why when people want to like disturb my peace, I'm like, that is not advisable. So so I guess when you're saying you're applying to places in Atlanta and Augusta, what does that mean? What does that have to do? Are you going to come bother my peace? Because that's not advised, man. I would drive you crazy. I got a million animals. I'm a crazy cat woman. And if you bother my peace, we have a problem. Ooh, that tea actually hits the spot right now. Okay. Won't you be my neighbor? Oh gosh. I am losing my mind. Yeah, I know. Nevada sucks, but okay. I grew up with Reading Rainbow and Mr. Rogers. Oh my gosh. I loved the dude from Reading Rainbow as a little kid. Literally, no wonder I love nerdy black men. God damn it. That makes a lot of sense. I also loved what Mr. Rogers stood for. I know, like, that maybe that makes me, like, I don't know. I feel like I was born in the wrong decade. Hey, Alcatraz. Don't be psycho. Come on. Let's go. Hi, beauty. Hi, queen. Say, Davey, why would you want to be in the Bible Belt? Come on now. Well, I mean, I'm trying to okay, well, I didn't name her. And that wasn't her original name. And it actually ties into a weird synchronicity, her name, for me. Anyway, Alcatraz, let's talk about her. And I talk about her often. I was born and raised in the desert. I fucking hate the desert. And while I say it's the Bible Belt, I was planted in the Bible Belt, like how we were talking about hybrids earlier, Zyra. I was planted in the Bible Belt to help reform it. Because a lot of these Christians didn't follow the principles. So, like, people, like, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. There really is truth to that. You can't fuck with the Creator's prophets. So the people that were given the instructions from the Bible, because that's the text that they chose to follow, that didn't follow it, well, here I am in the Bible Belt to be like, hey, man, you fucked up. So Alcatraz. Let's talk about her. I love to talk about how if Alcatraz can find family and love in my home, anyone can find love, because she was raised in the prison. So she was born in the prison, and she was brought over to the shelter at whatever age she was brought over there. but she was born in the prison, and she came over spitting and fighting and pissing, and just, her name wasn't originally Alcatraz. It was something else. But then when she was in the shelter for over 2 years, and no one adopted her, and she was practically fucking feral. Like, when I tried to adopt her, like, I couldn't even, like, nobody could hold her because she was so angry. And it took her a really long time. And like I say, she was very antisocial. She was very angry. And she still is. She has her favorite people. But it was one of those, if Alcatraz could be incarcerated her whole life and be non-social with other animals and people, and she found love in a whole group of cats to find love and a home, so can you. So can I. Like, she was incarcerated her whole life and she found love in a family. So, like, for me, I was incarcerated my whole life within my family, and I found love in a family. So, and the irony with her is, I had a lot of naysayers. Oh, she's never gonna get along. She's never gonna be XYZ. Well, she is. She does get along. So they wanted to shit on, like, love doesn't exist in my house. Yes, it does. And there are so many different, like, weird love combinations and bonding combinations. Like, Badger has an emotional support cat. And Milo, the one that had the card on his back, while he's a grumpy old man, him and Alcatraz are two little chess mouses, and they love each other. Like, they sit at the door all the time and watch the world, because while they didn't necessarily like each other, they are best friends now. So, if you want to know what my house is like, it's love. And it's finding transformative ways between animals that would never get along. Speaking of Milo wanted to come up and hang out, but Alcatraz is being a little territorial right now. Which is funny, because she didn't like me, she didn't like anybody, now she won't leave me alone, if you can't tell. She's the one that likes to come up and do readings with me and talk about spiritual stuff, so. She is also attached to a very masculine energy, and that masculine is very protective over me, which is a whole other enchilada. You know what I miss about Arizona, though? I miss Filibertos. I miss breakfast burritos. I was talking to somebody from Arizona the other day, and I miss the food in Arizona. I really do. Especially because I was born and raised there. Like, I miss the food there. I miss good Mexican food, because Mexican food here, like, they think putting cheese sauce on the food is the way to go. Like, when I get a burrito here and they've got, like, this nasty, like, plastic, tasteless cheese sauce on it, and I'm like, that is the most disgusting shit, but everybody here loves it. And the people that come from Florida that come here and they eat that and they're like, oh, it's so good, and I'm like, this is disgusting. Ew. Like, don't do that to me. I don't have a garage. I do miss a garage. I do love my house, though. I do love, I love where I live. And where I live, too, is, it's kind of like a hidden gem. Like, it's funny. It is so funny, because when people come down my driveway and they see my house and my property, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. And I was like, yes, it's just like me. It's hidden in plain sight. Like, my house is hidden in plain sight, yet it is beautiful. And yeah. So I don't know what a potato log is, but I do love like hash browns in my burritos. I think that was part of the hardest part about moving here, and we've been here for 4 years, and I can't go back to Arizona. Like, it literally physically makes me fucking ill. The heat and the dryness makes me ill. I do love about where we live, like, I love the humidity and the temperatures, minus the winter's a little chilly, but I miss the food. I can't do the heat and the dryness. It makes me feel so sick. Like, I was back in Arizona 3 years ago on July 3rd, and I was there for less than 8 hours, and I landed on the ground, and it was 108 in the parking garage. And I just instant headache the moment I touched down in Arizona. Like, this is beyond gross. So I guess when we moved here, I had to make my own breakfast burritos, and I had to make my own salsa, which, because it's just me right now, making breakfast burritos and salsa feels like a waste, because it's just me. It's also why I quit cooking, like, after my separation, not having my children around all the time. I quit cooking, because if it's just me to cook for, it doesn't, I don't like to cook. It's not my favorite thing. And my phone may be like buffering because it's about to die. So if it's lagging,